poet and part-time English teacher in bed with one of his former students, but it was not making things easy. Under the table, Julia's foot tapped nervously. She had to pick up her 5-year-old daughter Anna from school at 3 p.m, and she couldn't be late. They had an appointment at 3:30 to collect a Cocker Spaniel puppy from a woman who had been surprised when she woke one morning to plaintive cries and came downstairs to find that her dog, who had been suffering from a mysterious listlessness for the last week, was producing puppies at an astonishing rate. The woman was a nurse, and she worked the late shift. She had agreed to wait until 3:30, but that was as long as she could hold on. Julia and Anna had spent hours getting ready for the puppy, buying the bed, choosing where to put it, selecting the name. Anna had settled on Bella, which Julia thought was a fine name for a puppy. Stocking up on dog treats, planning where they would take her for walks. And Julia did not want to have to deal with the disappointment that would follow if she had to tell Anna that the puppy would not be coming home that evening after all. Even more than that, Julia needed the puppy to be a source of nothing but joy and affection, because she was going to be facing her own custody battle soon enough, and, if it was anything like Carol Prowse's, Anna would need all the distractions she could get. Julia hadn't found Brian in bed with one of his students, thankfully, since he taught in a junior school, or with anyone else for that matter. If she had, she probably wouldn't have cared, which was exactly the problem. She liked Brian. She thought he was a good man, and a good dad, and a good husband. Well, an okay man, and an okay dad, and an okay husband. But she just wasn't inspired by him. No, it was worse. She wasn't interested in him. He was like a work acquaintance that she knew in passing but didn't really care about. The kind of acquaintance whose troubles you might hear about. Did you hear Brian's getting a divorce? And think it was a shame, but it wasn't really any of your business. That was how she felt about Brian. He just didn't belong in her life anymore. It hadn't always been like that. For a while she had kept a photo of her and Brian on the first day of their honeymoon on her desk at work. They were on a white sandy beach on the Greek island of Milos. They had just finished eating a meal of grilled fish, and the sun was setting behind them. She had asked the waiter, a Greek fisherman who doubled up as a beachfront restaurant owner in the evening, to take it. Afterwards, they stood arm in arm facing the sea. "This is heaven," she said. "It's amazing. The world is such a magical place." Brian laughed. "You sound like you've been smoking too much dope, like when we used to get stoned and stare up at the stars." "But this is real," Julia said. "It really is heaven. Our feet are in the water. Nothing to worry about for the next 2 weeks. And nothing to do right now but go back to our room." She kissed Brian's cheek, taking note of his muscular arms and flat stomach, then ran her hand through his salt-stiff hair. "Where we can see if we can find a way to spend a few hours of our honeymoon." They were so at ease with each other then, so tight, so intertwined. But that was all gone now. Somewhere along the way they had taken different paths, started seeking different things in life. They hadn't noticed at the time, hadn't seen that they were slowly diverging, until it was too late. Looking back, Julia thought it had started around the time Anna was born. She was their only child, and the only one they were likely to have, given how hard it had been to get her. And she deserved a dad who invented wild stories and made treasure hunts, and drew and painted and created with her. A dad who injected energy and wonder and awe into her world. Brian loved her. Of course he did. He doted on her. But he never suggested that they try anything new, that they go camping on an island in a lake, or to the seaside, or to see a play. He didn't build an obstacle course in the garden, or put on plays in an Anna-sized theatre, or assemble a trampoline and hold the Crown Mini Olympics. Instead, he bought her the same pink Lego sets and Disney brand